1, and we're live.
We made it. We're here. The night. Garden Radio. Sonic Garden.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of the Mang and Neads Show, live on Sonic Gardens Radio. Welcome.
Welcome.
Intro song,
Intro.
Stolen Car.
Here it is. Jesse. Jesse? Jesse?
We attempted to rob someone.
Yeah, rough version of it. We're
Is
just still working on it.
Cheesehead.
Man, I've been working on a lot of stuff. Like last night,
Yeah, what were you doing
I
last
busted
night?
out the
Busted it out?
I busted it out. I had
Down
okay.
here in your undies?
So I had I originally discovered the Moonhill band reel to reels in the basement on Sheldon Street
that
when
you
I was a
got
kid,
there, sitting out there.
So a couple times like when I was young, I just did a simple tap that reel to reel into the back of like a tape recorder, and I just recorded a tape version so that I could play it, and but it was always something that I wanted to work on more. I would have liked to remaster it. So then it's interesting because then 20 years later, I'm working with those same reel to reels. So at this point, there's like a 40, they're like 40-year-old reels, and
Right.
the tapes stick together, so it all just is what it is. But I decided to pull my audio track that I had on my computer into the Studio Live mixing board in the PreSonus recording Studio One. So I was just listening to this live Moonhill band
How was
recording from 72.
How was it?
Dude, it's awesome. It's really close. It's I just wanted to
Now, who
work on it a little bit
Who were
more.
the people in that band?
So that one was I really don't know all the members. I should really I guess do an interview with somebody. Who would know is Jeff would know everybody.
For sure, right?
My dad
He might
forgets some
forget a
things.
couple guys?
No, I think he'd know everybody's name. I just think that he might have a gap in there. But yeah, he should. We should have a revisit. But the guys
We
that
should call him up.
so the guys that I remember in the band are.
Give him a Sunday phone call.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I'll do that when I get the
All right.
when I get the stuff ready.
All right.
But
Because he even called in to talk one day.
he did. Yep.
He liked to hear our voices.
Yeah. Yeah, when we get the phone system figured out, we'll do it, man.
Yep. We're about 2 decades away from that. But
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Hey man,
We'll get it.
getting there.
We plan to be
Slowly but
around
surely.
for a while.
Yeah, so the people I know were in the band
Your dad.
was my dad on the drums,
Jeff.
Jeff Rasmussen, who was playing the trumpet as well as the guitar and probably whatever else,
Oh, yeah.
He was I imagine maybe he was a filler for that. And then you had Bruce Beadle played the guitar, and on the bass was Kevin Joy.
Really?
And the cool thing is all these guys were writing songs. So the album was just it was like a Bruce song, a Jeff song, a Kevin song, and and they were just always and then even my dad had songs. There was different versions of the band as well. Like they had kind of split at one point, I believe.
So was your dad singing still at this time?
Yeah, but he was really. It was more. He doesn't do any singing in this band, at least on certain things. Like there is a Moonhill Band song that my dad wrote and they recorded. So it's interesting because I ended up locating. It's basically an album recording, so a studio recording of an album. And it's like in. I believe Syracuse. All right, I think that was like where it was recorded.
I was going to ask you.
And then I have another recording that is recorded in New York City.
Ooh.
And actually has Jeff's brother on the vocals for the Moonhill Band. So. I think it was at a point where maybe the band had split up and they went and did a few songs in a different studio in New York. Again, that would be kind of it's something that I'd really love to revisit, especially with these guys. I know Jeff listens to this show sometimes, so love to talk about that some more.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like I'm just saying, oh, this band, blah blah blah, but when you hear this album, it's sick, man. These tunes should be in the classic rock, They should be playing them every day on these radio stations because they're that
99
awesome. You know what I mean?
The well. We need a radio station. Is what we need.
We need to be one.
Well,
not
just one. We need to be everything. We need.
Yeah.
That would help.
No, radio station's cool. I just do like the whole. I mean, everybody's.
Well, that could just be another. We could play a bunch of music.
Satellite. Satellite would be cool to get.
Right. Get a satellite channel.
Well, or at least an episode on somebody's channel.
Right.
Would be cool.
Right.
Or some time.
A sit-in.
But
we'll be guests.
Yeah, because it's like the whole concept of radio and having to go through that. It's like you have to I'm not looking to do that. Like that's somebody that's looking to get into like advertisement, and that's all it's really about. You know what I mean? Yep. And I guess the way I see it is that this show is kind of like an advertisement of its own of what is capable at the studio, and So I guess my theory on it is I don't really want to be on that. I mean, listeners is good and all that stuff, but I just think we can do so much more on the internet regardless.
Well, you were just talking about that was all probably going to end, so.
Oh, yeah.
So, radio signal will never end, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Well, true.
That's my point.
That's true.
You're always going to be able to get a radio signal, just about always.
Well, in that case, then it would also throw out the whole jumping through hoops thing that I'm talking about. So I guess that just comes down to knowledge of like FM transmitters and stuff like that.
That would be great.
I mean, I imagine you could use the same equipment that is in like cell sites.
Right.
Like if an apocalypse came, you could still like figure out a way to broadcast.
Yeah.
With minimal addition, like you could almost put like an antenna right on the building.
All right.
And use it, like you could find.
Climb up the fucking water tower is what we do.
Well, I'm saying like the actual existing cell phone sites that have equipment, like you'd have like endless, because they're way more. I mean, I could just only imagine that they're way more powerful than you would actually need in like the radio wave sense.
Right.
Like boosters and amplifiers, but I don't even know what I'm talking about, so hey,
Yeah. Some of it. I know some of it.
Yes, sir. So yeah, man, that was a awesome Stolen Car intro background there.
Yeah.
If you want to hear that tune, you can go back to, I can't remember what day it was, but I think I did like a solo episode. I played that one right out. Actually, I did it just the other day, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, man, you guys have heard that one, I guess. But yeah, what else? We're looking to get on to, putting some stuff on. We want to get set up on the iTunes podcasting, and that is that's like a.
It's not too hard, right?
The thing about that is they charge you based on like we're on here on YouTube. We can just run as much as we want, so we can go every day, as many hours as we want.
Now, is that
unlimited.
just audio or is that video too on iTunes?
No, so that would just be audio. So that would just be an audio show.
That'd be good. People want, and then they could take it with them.
Yeah. Well, you can actually take this with you too.
Oh, you can download
if
it.
You know how to, if you know how to do that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not there in my life yet. I don't know.
Well, I guess then again, if you have a membership with I don't have one either.
Me neither.
But
I got too many other memberships to have a YouTube one.
Yeah.
Seriously.
What other kind of memberships do you have?
Well, I have a
better than YouTube.
I have a iTunes one for sure.
You got one of those Columbia Records one where
I
you
do
get
not. I had one though.
Get the
I had
CDs
one.
in the
You know
mail?
damn well I had one.
Do they still do that?
I don't know. I don't know. There was more. There was Columbia and there was BMI.
Yeah.
I had both.
They would give you music.
Fuck yeah! I tried everything out, man. That's how I got like into. Yeah, that's how I just would grow my taste. Whatever I could get my fucking paws on that I thought might have a chance. I would get it.
I would get it.
I would. And then I would break it all down and find what I liked out of everything.
Yeah.
And
well, I remember some of those it was difficult to find.
And
I mean, they were all like a lot of the mainstream.
There was a lot of mainstream, but there was some, like, you could get, like, there was some Ween, like, you could get certain ones. Like, you could get Ween because it was on Electrica still, and, like, you could get certain shit long as it was on a major label. But you could only get certain ones, though. So.
See, I remember, just
like
so
they
crazy,
had 40
man.
They had 40 ounce. I remember getting that. Yeah, they had everything, man. Oh, not I mean everything that not everything. Sorry.
I just remember coming up, getting having I dreamed of being able to live in like a place where you could just go to a store,
like
a music store, and just shuffle through things and pick things to look to
like what was that record store? Oh, they were big time. The Red. I think they started out in California and then they were like everywhere.
Tower.
Was it Tower?
Tower Records.
Yeah,
they're the ones that started having concerts and they like really.
He started it out in
up.
Cali, like in that thing, and then he just like, he was everywhere, like Japan, China, like everywhere. He got a store.
Right. That all fell though.
And it
obviously.
all fell. Yes. Yeah. CDs and shit, like.
Yeah, it didn't. It just became irrelevant. Like
obsolete. And then
isn't that so funny? Because we remember when it was like tapes were in and they were trying to bring in the CDs and people were like fighting back, going, "Oh man, they'll never outlast a tape," and or the reverse, that like the quality isn't.
Yeah, and then the CDs, so they were still being
skipping. That was always a pain.
They were still being able to do the
car.
record stores because of the CDs, but then when like digital files came and MP3 and then all these streaming shit like that started to.
And now they're trying to sell the whole record thing, and I don't know, man. I guess unless you have a great record system, like
records have been back up.
They have. That's what it's keeping it all alive. But I just personally, I don't know. I still can't get like records to sound very good in my. I have a record player. And,
yeah, so don't we.
But it's like a Bluetooth record player. I don't have it hooked into like a system that makes it sound good. So I can't sit there and act like it sounds better.
But I mean,
I'll play old records that I have, and they're scratchy.
But they like that little like sound and all that shit with it. A lot of people do. I don't know. And then there's the nostalgia in it, right? I believe with a lot of people.
Well, and the concept of being able to hold something in your hand. Like I do like that, and like especially if it's something that I'm interested in.
Right.
But that was something for me that it's like coming up. We didn't have access to, CDs like at a CD shop. That's what I'm kind of saying. Like being able to flip through and really decide what you want.
Yeah. How old were we when that guy brought that one up there?
When Natoli did it?
No. Well, Natoli did it, but that guy first did it. They were out of Utica. He did it right up there
Big
across
Apple.
from Ozzy's.
Big Apple. Yeah.
Was it Big Apple?
Or Video Entertainment?
It was right next to Video Entertainment.
Oh, I don't remember then.
It's that building. It was right across from Ozzy's.
So,
I forget the guy's name. They sold like concert shirts up there too and shit.
Okay.
Yeah. They started getting, but we were already in our like.
Well, at that point, I guess you didn't have the money.
Or not,
yeah, I didn't have any money either. So I guess even if we had,
me neither. But
that time,
well, once in a while.
So, but then I remember going like on a cross country trip.
Oh boy.
And
goes across the country.
Yeah, I did. I was like 18, and me and Brendan and Chris, we jumped in the car. Right, but we went and picked Brendan up in North Carolina.
Oh, so you were 18.
And took like I-40 out.
So what year was that then?
I don't know, like 18 or 19.
95?
I don't know, 20?
6?
It had to have been
97.
I'd say 97. 97. I'm
97
graduated.
Was a good year.
I'm graduated. I'd been working like telecom for about 2 years.
Oh Jesus! So then you just had boatloads
of
money.
money. I had money saved up. And I just wanted to travel the country.
So
yeah, and then
we graduated in 95 then? Or 94?
95.
So you'd been out 2 or 3 years.
2 years.
Been working
and decided to go traveling. And I would like pick up, I was always into picking up like
hitchhikers.
Well, we did pick up a bunch of hitchhikers, yes. Freaking crazy, man. It's funny. There's so many stories of that just alone. Oh God.
I bet.
Yeah, crazy kids. But yeah, that was amazing. We went from Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way to, basically straight shot to like the Grand Canyon was like almost like the first in everything in between.
What
and then
did you
we
drive?
went to like
a
LA.
Bronco or something?
Yeah, I had the Bronco too.
You did?
Yep.
You had that for a bit then?
And then that was interesting because on the way back, so this was like a month and a half later or whatever, after going all over the place. And then we're coming back and we're in the Panhandle, Texas.
Oh boy.
Panhandle up there. And I remember I woke up. The best part about it was Brendan and I, right? We would like pass out and Chris would be driving and we'd like go to sleep and then it'd be like 8 hours later and we'd be in a whole nother part of the, country. But at one point we were in like Texas and I remember like I'm sleeping in the passenger seat and Chris is driving and then all of a sudden I wake up because I just hear the truck, winding, really high. And I look at Chris and I'm like, dude, are you in third gear? Because it was a standard truck.
Right.
And he was hauling it, 75 miles an hour.
In third gear?
In third gear.
Wouldn't shift?
No, it just, he didn't hear it.
Oh.
He didn't hear how it was winding like that. And I'm like, you couldn't hear that? So he had been going for hours. Like,
oh, boy.
Running that
RPMs
car.
Just fucking
yeah.
He's like, it's not my car.
No, he just didn't. It was classic moment. But eventually, and I don't remember if that was
so
like.
Did you go through El Paso and shit that way? Like.
Not El Paso's a little south.
Yeah.
But we did.
Yes, it is.
Like El Paso's like down south of. It's south of I-40. And we didn't dip way down in that way. We basically cut across and then went to.
So you didn't cut like if you get down there too far on the bottom there, you hit all those like. You hit all them stops, because the border's right there.
Oh right, yeah, we didn't run into any.
You didn't run into
stuff.
any of that shit, right? I mean, you don't cross the border, but still the border's right there. So there's a lot of stops for people because they check to see if people made it through, like that aren't supposed to be there. And there's a bunch of stops along that way if you're down that close.
Yeah.
I've been on 42 though, but not in '97 for sure. Shit was still fucking legit back then.
Yeah, went to the Grand Canyon. It was basically like a journey.
How was that?
It was awesome.
I've been like around that area, but I never went. Didn't have the time.
Hiked down in there.
You did? All the way to the bottom? Pretty close?
No, that was 12.
Took a mule?
6 miles. 6 miles to the like halfway viewpoint where
That's
you
where
sat.
you went? 6 miles in?
6 miles down.
Yeah.
So then you got to go 6 miles out.
Oh, yeah.
So
how was that?
Okay, so here was the thing, is that the normal world would like go to there and they'd settle in, and then they would like plan the next day, and they would decide we're gonna get up at
7, 8.
6 a.m.
Fuck.
and head down in there because
Not
it's
you
cool.
guys though, huh?
No, we're like kids that have never seen anything, basically. And so we show up, we arrive at the Grand Canyon National Park at like
noon?
2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
All right.
And we're like,
fuck it.
Let's do this. And we throw on our backpacks and our sleeping bags, and we're like, we're going. And then we start hiking down into we find a little trail down in.
Yeah, you did.
And we start, we didn't find a trail.
Right.
We go to the main trail.
Right.
Because there's not like random trails, I don't think. Like
right,
that.
but there's more than one.
I imagine. Right.
Yeah.
So then get down, get a good ways in, on our initial hike here going down, and we notice everybody else is coming out
right
at this point.
Because it's going to be dark at some point.
Yeah. So then eventually we hit like a ranger, and the ranger says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we're going to go down there and fucking camp out, America." And they're like,
nope.
The guy's like, "No, you're not."
Nope.
And we're like, "What do you mean?" And he says, "You got to have first of all, you got to have a permit, and second of all, there's like this or that, whatever." Snakes. So we're like, okay, and we're like, so what do we have to do? And he goes, well, you guys got to be heading out by sundown. So like you have to be leaving once the sun goes down.
Oh.
Right? So this is like a whole day, man. We're like 6 miles. 6 miles, and on top of that, you're going.
You headed down at 2 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
2:30, we'll say.
Yeah, so it's like 2:30 in the afternoon, and we head down. And
when did you run into the ranger?
It was probably like
few hours after?
No, not even. Probably like 20 minutes. We easily could have like climbed out.
Oh,
but
so
the whole thing about
so you were just on your escapade down in when you ran into the ranger.
Yeah.
All right.
And then so we are we basically, when we ran into that ranger, we had the option of like going back to the car and like bringing all our stuff, and then having being light,
What month was
traveling.
this, Ange?
Summertime.
So it was hot as fuck.
Yeah, it was hot.
You guys started your descent right at the hottest part of the day, too, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny.
All right. Keep going.
So on top of that, you're hiking down into the Grand Canyon, and that is like railroad ties. So it's like space just like railroad ties, and it's basically like walking on the railroad tracks.
To make it easier to get down in, right?
Right, except for just like the railroad, and you try to walk on the tracks, it's hard to keep that step. It's like your legs are either too short or too long. You can't, ideally, you'd have long legs and you'd skip over one.
Right.
Or you'd have really short legs and you can.
And you have medium legs.
I'm just, whatever. And so it makes everything kind of like a skipping motion, and you can't like run, because if you're running, then it's like short steps. It's a weird thing,
Yeah.
So on top of that, you're going uphill and downhill, So the initial descent into the Grand Canyon is like the only situation, or most, other than gorges and those type of hikes, where you're descending first and then you have to climb back out later.
Right.
So you do like the easier part, and then you have to do like the harder part coming out. So we hiked down in 6 miles. Pretty cool stuff. Just being down there, the colors, the just the feeling of something, man. It's a cool place like that.
Right.
All those amazing ones. And then we made it to this like big, huge rock. Anybody that's ever done this knows what I'm talking about, because I think it is pretty like standard situation. It's like there's not a lot of means in there as far as that's a lot. It's like making a road, so it's not like they're just randomly throwing in roads. This whole railroad thing, and to get down in there, and there's hoses along the way. You know what I mean? Like the infrastructure of that is not. I know the Grand Canyon's huge, but I guess where the park is, where the actual national park is, I think there is only, a couple ways in. If not, only one way in. I'm not sure. Again, somebody could tell me. But
there's a few for sure. There's you want me to name them off?
Why, you're looking at it right now?
There's the South Rim Trail, the Bright Angle Trail, the South Khabib Trail.
All right, well, do they all lead to the same rock that overlooks the overlooks the
you should have told me
what is it, the Colorado River
that runs through it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's one rock that you guys came upon?
Well, there's
one
like
big rock?
I guess I wouldn't call it I'd have to like, it ends the trail, and basically if you look over, it's like you're on a mountain still looking down directly at the river, and the river's still a ways down, and if you look at the trail thing, it says it's another 6 miles.
Jesus
so
Christ.
If you're looking at trails, it's a 6 mile point to like this point that's a nice overlook, and it's the greatest, a place where you can see the most amazing sunset, man. Over top of the Colorado River, down in Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona, right?
Yeah. Keep telling me stuff.
So that was the 6 mile mark, and we watched the sunset from that rock, but still had 6 miles to climb out after dark.
Wait. You waited until it got dark to turn around?
Well, that was the rule, and it took us that long to get there. We were getting there about sunset time.
All right. So now you're heading out, and it's getting dark, or it is dark?
It is dark.
And
it was just a long climb. And
was the moon out, Ange?
Yeah, I imagine.
Did you have flashlights?
I imagine we had it. Yeah, I can't remember specific flashlight things, but.
Well, I mean, you're climbing the side of a fucking.
I remember Chris was really
canyon.
Chris was he had been heavily into mountain like hikes and stuff, and he so he was like a machine. Like we got there and he wasn't with the pack, because it wasn't just us. We were with Shane and Shannon Appler.
They made it.
Yeah, we met those guys out there, and Lori Wagner. There was we had a group. We had like a 6-person group, caravan, 2 cars, and it was cool. So Chris just bolted like ahead, and he was like a machine. So like he might have made it out, and he was already like out, in and out, like ahead of us.
Was it Horseshoe Bend?
I don't know.
Oh.
Why is that like?
There's all kinds of shit. I'm pretty.
I remember those numbers pretty well as far as 6 miles in, 6 miles out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Wonder if Chris knows. Be good if he did.
I doubt it.
Oh. All right. Figured he had a mind like a steel trap. He'd remember.
No, I don't think so.
Oh. Yeah, it was only 23 years ago. All right. Then
what can you say?
So then you made it out?
Eventually we made it out. There was one interesting moment.
Now,
I mean, there's like, whatever.
were there people? So this trail that you went down in, because some of them trails, they people take horses down and stuff.
Oh yeah, we did see horses. Yes.
Huh.
They passed us. And that was cool. But when we were coming out, we were the only ones
coming out.
Yeah, there was nobody else. Like this place was, shut down, and we were the only ones. So we were like just having a good time, taking our time.
It was like walking up the quarry for 6 hours, like the hardest part. That fucking main part right there. Where
more like around the bend, not like you go up the face, but like around the bend. And
right,
around
for
the
6
bend,
hours.
And around the bend,
and around the bend. For 6 hours.
For 6
that
hours.
Hard, that
6 hours, maybe like 4 hours, 6 hours. Yeah. I don't know, man. So
what did you do? You'd walk and stop a bunch, right?
Yeah, so we just totally took our time. That's where I said Chris was like a machine, and he just went ahead.
Smoke breaks and shit.
Yeah, everything. Like
Arizona.
we had.
Yeah, Arizona. You don't want to fuck around in Arizona though. Well, now you can, I guess.
It's kind of funny. I just didn't even think about any of that stuff.
Right.
Any of it. Like I don't know, man. I wasn't like, do we have? I just didn't think about anything. It was like you think you're invincible, and you just like I could walk all day without like a drink of water. I don't know, like you need one or you want one. But it's like I didn't really think about it, and then you're like, oh, this is convenient.
Running out of water before.
Right. It's like, oh, this is convenient that there's a hose right here.
Yeah,
that I can
hose
fill up my.
Because they had motherfuckers dehydrate out there, fucking dying on the path.
So like every, something like that, every mile or something, there was a hose with water, so you could
some spring water.
So.
Fresh out the
but
canyon.
They were very firm about no camping down there. So when we were coming out,
but you could get a permit and get in camp then.
Yeah, you could have a camping permit, and it really wasn't that hard to do. It's just
when you show up at 2:30, you can't get one.
Yeah.
All right.
That was what it was. They were like, you need a permit, and you can't get one today.
They're like, you fuckers are from New York.
Yeah, you're supposed to like plan ahead. So you're supposed to do stuff like that, like a month in advance. You're calling,
right? Yeah, that's not how we work from out here.
That's not how we roll when you're living a life of spontaneity,
right?
So the other cool thing was that, like, so we're walking out, and we, like I said, took our time. I want to say we didn't get out of there until like the sun was coming up. So it was like a 12-hour journey. So I think we kind of like made it a party too, where we like would stop and hang out.
Do you know, like, were you in the middle of it? Were you on like one of the rim, like the south rim, the north? You don't know where you like, because there's.
I guess I could.
There's a bunch of there's like the south rim, the fucking. There's a couple trails on that side. I'm just because there's a bunch of different awesome looking viewpoints. There's the North Rim.
The Rim.
There's the OA Point from South. There's all kinds of stuff.
Rim
it looks like,
to rim. I don't really know.
It looks like a real good. It looks really beautiful and stuff. It looks like I would rather ride down a 4-wheeler or a dirt bike or something. Need to get my knee fixed. Then I can try it before I get too old.
Yeah, man. I don't know how to... I mean, you'd look up some pictures or something.
Right, and just remember, there I was.
Yeah.
23 years ago.
Well, I mean, I do have, like, pictures of that spot and that day.
Right.
I just remember it was almost like a large disc that you would walk out on.
I think Brendo, if we had, Brendo would remember. He was with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd remember. Fully confident in his
memories.
Yeah.
For
something like that.
So
there we were.
So hey everybody, we're looking to get 1,000 subscribers on our show here.
All we need is 64
we got our
more.
Daily updates, and what's happening, what's going on in this world, what we're been thinking about. lately. Just coronavirus has taken over everything.
We were thinking about the canyon today.
Gave us a chance to, check that stuff out. But another huge, massive number for new cases of the coronavirus, and yeah, man. It just, I saw a lot of people out today. Not like a lot of people with walking. The park was like packed. With people walking. It didn't seem, a little bit, I don't know, and then the park next door to me, kids riding their bikes.
Them cocksucker. You better poke nails in the parking lot.
Stuff like that.
At night.
No, I just, and then it's like, I even had my son asking me if he can hang out with his friends. And I'm like, no, you can't. And then he's saying, "Well, why not? It's over now." And
it's not. It hasn't even begun.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just a real. I don't get it. I don't know.
Huh.
So I'll play you guys a tune.
Oh,
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I actually should play you what I was working on last night.
Oh yeah.
If I can find it.
Just a sample of it. Did you finish?
I will, yeah.
Yeah, just play.
All right. It might have that because it's coming off this other system.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it has a little crosstalk problem.
It's all right.
But let me see if I can do it. It's crazy.
Tell me. I'd like to know about crazy shit. Yeah, that is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
and I whispered it. Oh, here we go. Got it. No, do I? Shit. No, I don't. I'm trying to find my file here. Yeah, give me just a second here.
Oh, been waiting patiently. Oh boy, the locust. They're coming back, aren't they?
Are they?
Well,
what else?
Today,
tell us about some.
Today in 18. I'm trying to remember the year, but I don't know if I can remember the year. But your buddy there, Paul Revere, man. Back in 1770, he did his little. So he went. The British, they were going to. They're taking their army. They were headed out there to Lexington. They were going to get old John Hancock and Samuel Adams.
What were they going to do with them?
They were going to arrest them sons of bitches.
Wow.
Because they knew that they were conspiring to start a revolution.
Okay.
Well, your buddy jumped on his goddamn horse at 10 at night with another friend and went and warned them two. And then he was going to warn, he was headed to Concord, Massachusetts, because that was the hotbed. Since we've been talking about hotbeds, that was the hotbed of the Renaissance. So he was headed there. The resistance. I'm sorry, can't talk. Burnt my tongue. So he was headed there, but he got stopped by the British, and they held on to him for the night or whatever and let him go the next day. But he had already done a good enough deed in getting word to John Hancock and Samuel Adams, so they never got caught at that present time.
Okay.
So, did you fix the song? I figured I'd just bring up a quick little.
No, that was great. My problem is no, I haven't because I lost it. And
I thought you had a problem with the. I thought you had a problem with Paul Revere, man. But no, you got a problem in there.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with Paul Revere. I'm just having a problem with my
Huh.
Like last night, I remember I closed it out, and I'm like, what? So maybe if I just go to the start menu, and I'll be able to find it. Oh, here we go.
Well,
I got it. There it is. What a silly man. Sometimes I forget how to do stuff.
So after those two battles in Lexington and Concord, that helped spark the Revolutionary War.
All right, dude. You guys, Let's see.
What?
This is a quick take on this, but this song here is called.
Two in the pocket, one in the. What is it?
It's called "Hey Molly." This is a Moonhill Band recording. Let's see how it goes.
Let's hear it.
Cut it short if it's
Put it in my ears.
doing something. Okay. 15.
I've been waiting for this one.
Tape in. Yeah, me too. And like I said, I just got to start on it. I got a little ways to go, but I did get a lot of the hiss out as far as last night. Let's see.
Past sometime. He's writing a short note to her, and her name is Molly. And the song is called Hey Molly.
Okay, Wesley. You just got muted.
So many years and so many tears have passed our way since that fateful day when we said goodbye. And it seems to me it was plain to see that two birds as young and as happy as we would just have to fly. As I sit here drinking, I can't help thinking just how many more have broken into this old heart of mine. And I just wanna say, have a happy day wherever you are, whether near or far. Hope you're doing fine. Hey, Molly, how you doing? Here's to you and here's to me. Hey, Molly, how you doing? And whatever you're doing, do one for me. So many kids and a couple of kids have come into my life, and I married a wife since we parted, babe. But now they're gone, and it didn't take long till I fell again, and I lost her again, but I'm not crying, babe. 'Cause I know it's true, it's been the same with you. You have my sympathy, take it straight from me that you have my best. 'Cause I love you still, and I always will. Wherever you are, whether near or far, hope you're doing best. Be my guest now, here we go. Hey, Molly, how you doing? Here's to you and here's to me. Hey, Molly, how you doing? one for me. Hey, Molly, how you doing? Here's to you and here's to me. Hey, Molly, how you doing? And whatever you're doing, do one for me. This one written by Jeff also.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Who's that, Bruce?
That's his Bruce. That is Bruce talking. Yeah, man.
Oh boy.
So that was Jeff's tune. Bruce was singing it. Man, what happened here?
I don't know. I'm not in there, man. I'm out here
Let's try this again.
at this particular day.
Let me try this one.
Good day to fly a kite.
There we go. All right. Yeah, so that was I mean, hey man, I'm still working on that. It's,
Hey.
that's from the 70s. Got it off of reel to reel. So, but I did find that I have a lot of features that can clean certain things up, and like I duplicated the tracks. So like you know, I can pull certain things in and out. But man, right at the end there, that one line, not even just that one, almost every line in that song is so cool, man. But that one at the end where he says forgetting your past in someone else's glass and you can be my guest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's a good song. I like it.
Yeah, those yeah, man. That's always been one of my favorites. But there is so what do I have on this one? This is a live. So like what I was getting at was that I have
Show these fuckers what a reel looks like, 'cause some of them don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Some people
Okay.
don't know. Like you got it right there, right?
Yeah.
I saw it earlier. It looks fucking. It's great.
The machine?
Yeah.
All right.
The whole machine's
I'll
right
pull it
there.
right up on this.
Yeah, pick it up. Show us your muscles.
No, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick my camera up.
Oh. Well, what the fuck?
All right, I'll bring it over.
He's gonna break it. He's gonna pick
Shit.
it up. Bend
All
with
right.
your knees. Shit. It's Sonic Garden Radio. Mang and Neads Show, yo. Mang and Neads. There it is. Look
There
at
we
that.
go.
beauty.
That's what we're talking about here.
Hell yeah. Real to real. Get real. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow.
So yeah,
What?
I did it.
Yeah, you did.
I showed them. So yeah, that's the
Showed
machine I'm
them.
talking about. So I basically and even that unit right there. So a connection on that was I had one that I think was my dad's or somebody's, and I kind of wore it out and it died. And I remember when I first became friends with Dan Brower, he said that that his dad might have one of those. So I believe that is owned in compliments of Mr. Tom Brower
Oh,
of
really?
SNS TV Appliance. But I think I've had it for like 20 years now in its own. So don't worry. I'm trying to keep it safe.
It's in good condition.
So then I was able to do it again, and it's like almost like this is my third attempt at doing something with them.
Right.
Mhm.
Going to get it this time.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool because I am friends with all these people that are
Right.
in that band on Facebook. So it'd be cool if I could put together a show.
Yeah.
I'd like to get some photos too, and like make some videos maybe.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that
Mhm.
song was "Hey Molly."
Hey, Ma.
Just a cool perspective on somebody looking back on their life and wishing someone in their past that, a past love or something that didn't work, good luck. That's what life's supposed to be about.
Right.
And there's kind of too much of the
slamming your fingers in the door.
There's too much of the other end where it's like you see like a post where they're like, come on, we all know we wish, everybody has an ex they wish they could kill or something. And I don't think
have
like
any.
that. I'm
That ain't how
I'm not trying to say I'm like a saint, but I don't have like hatred in me for anyone. Huh. Even that where it's like some people are
they want to it said they want to kill. Yeah, I definitely don't.
Or like,
you want to run over?
Yeah, or like that wish we're dead. And I just like, I don't know, man. I just don't really, even if someone does you wrong, I don't have that.
Yeah, I'll go hang out with any of my exes, probably. I don't know, maybe not.
I don't.
Maybe
I
that's
just
a
don't
bad,
have.
Maybe
that,
that's a bad statement.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah. I don't have hatred.
Yeah, I don't want no harm. You never
know. So I like that perspective.
Might have to rekindle something.
There's a million songs like that. Like, there's those, and that's what it is. It's like, crash that. There's tons of them.
Tell me what you're talking about.
I don't know. Like you tell me. Name one. Everybody knows.
What?
I don't need to give any examples because there's a million mainstream songs that are like about. Whether it's the one that got away, the one about
the big fish,
that one woman that slices up the dude's car, and that was like Kelly Clarkson or something. She's gonna go like slice up the dude's car.
I'm happy that I don't know about that song.
You do too.
No, not Kelly Clarkson. I definitely don't.
It's somebody that was like
your girl. Was it in the 90s?
No, it's like.
You sure?
Recent.
It wasn't your girl Avril Lavigne there. What was her name?
There's all that stuff. Then there's like the, crash that piece of shit and walked away. Even those songs, man. Dispatch, right?
That was not Dispatch. That was
Uncle. But I'm just
Rehab, right? Nate sings that song, doesn't he? I heard him sing that song before.
Yeah, but we don't. That's not that one. I don't think that one makes the final cut.
Right. I'm saying in like an open mic.
I mean, he does it well. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He does a lot of songs well.
But it's like the attitude of like that attitude that you're like willing to.
Well, some people don't live like we do. They're a little more angry at more things than
I'm more angry at the big picture, I guess, than I am any individual.
Well, do you know that 25 years ago, Timothy McVeigh was pretty angry because that's when he did his.
You brought him up 2 days in a row now.
I did.
Didn't you bring up McVeigh with the McVeigh's uncle, Timothy McVeigh's uncle? You said about the guy that wanted his fertilizer.
Oh yeah, you were you said the name and I'm like but. Anyways,
he's your buddy.
No, it was 25 years ago today.
Yeah, that was awful. Oklahoma City?
Yeah, 168 people, man. That cocksucker. 16 of them were children.
Yeah, this dude pulled up in front of a government building with a white van and got out of the vehicle, walked away, and
yeah, it was 25 years ago. It was a fucking Ryder rental truck, Angelo.
Yeah,
Jesus.
A white one and unmarked, right?
Well,
it wasn't marked Ryder.
I don't know if it said Ryder on it, but I know it was a Ryder rental truck.
Right, and boom, they blew up the Oklahoma City. What was it? Oklahoma City building. It was a huge building.
Yeah, it was
government building.
If you want to be if you want to know what it really was, it was the Alfred P. Federal Building, man. It has a last name, but I can't remember the last name. So.
Oh yeah, back to these reels. I forgot. I never finished my story because I wanted to add.
I got off base.
It's okay. I picked up that thing to show everybody that reel-to-reel machine, and then basically what I have is I have a whole box of reels.
That go in it.
Yeah. Now you wind them on there. And the way a tape works.
So do you have different music than that, or you got?
Yeah. So I have a live. I have the one you just heard was a live version. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it looks like about 7 or 8 songs on that. And then I have another album that's got 4 songs, studio, and then another one that has about 8 that are also from a studio. So it's like basically I have 3 albums of the Moonhill Band. A studio, live, and like an alternate one. Slightly different band in the one, different recordings. That one might be harder to get out. But what's really cool about that one is that there's some cool songs about, like, one of the songs is called Sweet Cherry Pop, and a pop lollipop.
Right.
And my dad used to clean up. My grandfather ran the drive-in.
He did?
Yeah, he was the guy that
over there.
The guy, yeah, the drive-in guy forever. And this is when my dad was a little boy.
But this is when it was over where the Benedict's is now, or is it?
Yes, you're talking 1950, 60, 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your grandpa ran it?
I don't know. I don't know what he was just the guy.
But he worked there.
Yeah, he was the guy that took all the tickets and
put the movies on.
So my dad went down there, and he always had to clean up after the movies, walk around. So Jeff wrote a song about it's called Sweet Cherry Pop, and it's about cleaning up, the lollipop. Sweet cherry pop must have made her lips taste sweet.
So he'd go around and clean up all the garbage that the cars left and shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so that was a big part of, my dad's childhood, from what I understand.
Right.
And, Jeff wrote a song, so there was that one, and then on that was also another song that was, I'm telling you, when I break these out, they're going to be great. Then Sweethearts Forever, that was another one.
I think you should obviously debut what was it, Cherry Pop?
Sweet Cherry
Pop. That needs to be the next one. We need to hear that.
Well,
you can't build us up a story and then not play a song, not have the song
ready,
in a
man.
couple days.
That's not ready. But if you want to hear another one, I can give you another song.
Oh, you got another one ready off of that?
Oh, sure. I got that whole album ready.
Oh, you pulled all of it off last night?
Yeah, because it's all one. I had it all one track anyway, because I already put it onto the computer. So I just had an MP4 file. This shit's diluted and diluted.
Uncle Dilution.
But then I'm able to put it into some limiters, and I can do some work with it. The way it is now.
Huh.
So, so I definitely could play another tune off there. I might have to randomly find it.
Right.
The one you guys want to hear is
we're going to do a little snippet.
Just a little snippet
of a tune.
Let's see. I'm just going to practice here.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Could it be? I brought this one into my songs that I like to sing. But yeah, here you go. We're going to give you guys a little bit more of this Moonhill Band. This was live 1972-ish.
All right.
Still a little raw on the recordings. But, hey, man. Sometimes you get what you get. Anybody out there that is enjoying it, let us know. Appreciate
Sonic
it.
Garden Radio.
Oh, Laura got it. I knew it's out there for somebody. You know who else would appreciate it? It's old Joel Peter. If you're catching this episode, my friend, let us know.
Could it be that when they're gone for good? Because I used to want the children feel the crying. Alone like Rocky Island, we do everything we should. Alone at night, no thoughts of streaming in the sun. The people guiding by the well from break of day. Could it be those thoughts of some out this rumbling? Rhyming of the past, we try to tell us what to say. All I know is
come back. That was another song off the
Could it be?
Off the tracks. That's
Could
right.
it be?
Could it be? Yeah. Could it be we see reflections of the past? Something good that will forever be outcast. Could it be good is stronger in us now if we could let it out to someone else somewhere somehow?
All right.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of like a huge inspiration for this place, my music, appreciation, as well as my
Could it be?
I guess not. Yeah, like this, my whole Moonhill Band has a big part of that, and like the whole
big band.
What's up? You know, what's up with this whole thing, man? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
That I'm gonna get those recordings better though, because
Oh yeah.
currently there was like some crackle going on. I
A
think
little
that's
bit.
from back talk from having it hooked up to the same thing that we're transmitting this podcast on.
Oh.
Like this crosstalk
Uncle
thing
Becky.
where I'm playing a track through it, but the track is also picking up what we're putting into it, so it's like confused. Yeah.
Picking up what I'm putting
we
down.
we still have a hotline, 607
We do.
373 heat if you want to call in. Yeah, dude, I'm just glad that I reached out to anybody out there that that does know what I'm talking about with this, and specifically my sister's out there, Laura, and she's happy to have got to hear Hey Molly.
Hey,
And
Molly.
yeah, so I got more. I got lots more, Laura. So
Got a fucking reel of it.
coming at you soon. Special Moonhill Band. I'm hoping to get some maybe an interview. Maybe I can get a little party line of people.
Oh yes.
Get all the bandmates to like log in and we can like listen to it together.
Right.
That would be cool, right?
Yeah. It would be. It would be good.
That would be good.
Be a good
So
day.
yeah, I guess I really was thinking I got to cut this day a little short.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You got.
But I don't want to cut off if there's anything that you do
Oh
want
man, hey man,
to do about.
we let you talk once in a while.
Yeah. Sunday.
So, yeah, Sunday's your day to preach.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
I
here
also
for,
want to point out that
support.
today, happy birthday to the wonderful Shelly Davis out there.
Hi.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
She is
Old.
having birthday right now in this.
Oh really?
A lot of people in the April birthday
Yeah.
time.
Not a good time to have a birthday.
It's just a sad time.
It
Can't have
is.
a party.
You can't have a party.
We were gonna have a party. We would have had a huge party right here.
Oh, right down here at the shack.
Oh yeah. Also, in just a couple days would have been the 25th. So it would have been next Friday or Saturday.
Oh, you
I
guys
can't
weren't gonna
remember.
have a 420 party? Being a
Well, I imagine we would have had that too.
Monday night.
Yeah, we would have just done that. Wouldn't
Yeah.
have been a big deal.
Well, if you want to recap, some of these cocksuckers, they want to end the shutdown, man.
Yeah, I'm
We will
through
not
with it, man.
comply.
I'm like through with all that.
What?
I'm actually kind of disgusted with like even Facebook.
Americans.
Like even Facebook. It's
What?
like, man,
I'm drinking out of the
Facebook-
wrong end again.
Facebook has just really turned into, just a cesspool, man. It's
Yeah.
like there's nothing. There's
Yep.
really nothing in there that anybody's saying.
It's
that
like dipping into
matters.
the same gene pool for
I mean-
a few years, Ange. It's gonna get gross.
Yuck. Yuck.
Gonna have mutants coming out soon.
Well, goddamn.
It's a good day to be in America. Sunday, birthday for you, or birthday party for you. All excitement over there. So did you get her anything off of Amazon?
No, I don't. No way, man.
Oh.
We're having.
I tried to see if I could get you.
I'm making dinner. Dude.
What?
That's all. That's what I'm saying. Life is not about.
Oh.
It's not about that.
What?
It's not about
You're
like,
not?
gifts.
I'm not
about
real
that.
good on the gift thing either, man. Like
Every day.
But just so
every
happens
day is gifts.
I don't have anybody to buy a gift for.
Yeah. Every day is gift day. You think of people and you do nice things, and it's like
just
you
give
can...
her herpes, the gift that keeps on giving.
Jesus.
Fuck.
All right.
I'm having a good day so far. I woke up. I didn't think I was having a good day.
You didn't?
Well, no, I woke up and my side was hurting again.
Oh.
But
Is
then
that
I
like
took it. Then I took a turn for the goodness, man. Yeah. Didn't even have to do it. Well, I mean, I drank more tea today than I usually do. I usually drink more coffee. I had some coffee still though, but then I got into some tea. Well, I got into some tea first, had a little coffee. Got the 4-wheeler, made sure the battery wasn't dead in that, put some gas in it and drove it around. Had my dog going fucking ape shit because he just like he wants to bark and bark and bark. He'll run with it and stuff like that, but his leg, like if he does that, then he hurts his leg a little bit. So he just was barking at the 4-wheeler for a bit. So yeah. So I did that today. The sun was good. Took a plow off one of my trucks. Yeah, got some shit done. Yep. And here I am.
Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, I've been putting it off. One of them things. I'm always putting shit off, like, I guess. I'll do it the next day, and then if something terrible happens, then I won't have to do it. And then America.
Yeah, man. So here we are.
We're here.
Day number 35.
And
Thanks to everybody that
days.
Thanks to everybody that is well, it's not so hard every day. I just have to rename the title. So
well, I
it's
was
like
just giving you credit, but now you're gonna tell me how you did it. Fucking giving away. Now he's giving his secrets away, people.
Jesus. Okay. So
are you smiling though, bud?
35. I am.
All right.
I'm happy.
He's got to get going, folks. I pushed him 1 minute too long.
No, I didn't.
What is on the menu, though, is what I need to know.
Oh, you want to know? What
I do want to know what you got.
Okay.
What you got cooked up for a birthday dinner?
Well, I'm gonna be making. I have some pasta rigatoni with garlic and oil and mushrooms.
Oh man.
And some peppers.
Yeah.
And scallops.
Oh, fucking A, dude.
And
is this my birthday dinner? Jesus Christ. Those are all things I eat. I like that. That's
and then,
fucking, you're doing good.
With a side of garlic green beans. Because I kill it on that. I got this one.
Love green
like
beans.
A green bean parmesan.
Oh.
And
Jesus.
And as another appetizer, the like a baguette with mozzarella and a little piece of tomato, and I got a basil plant in my house that I just picked some leaves off of.
Fucking A.
And yeah.
Man, that sounds fucking killer. Seriously.
Oh,
we got something else, folks.
I do have like some like pre-made crab cakes.
All right.
That I might, where you see those over in the freezer where you get that smoked salmon.
Yeah.
They had a sale, buy one get one, so I threw those in the freezer.
Oh, I've had down there at the Peach Shop.
Yeah, so I will probably grill that.
They're good. They're not bad. They're for you know what I mean, for being landlocked like we are in here. They're not bad. I eat them fuckers.
Well, here's the thing. I know you say you don't do the fried food thing, but in that case, I might just hit those because they'll be so crispy. And
I would pan fry. I pan
fry them.
Yeah,
right.
that I would do.
But
for
you
sure.
see the difference for me is like what's really the difference? Because just flipping them in some
well, I mean, you can
oil.
Because you can go with a little bit of light oil, whatever, and then they don't get so saturated too.
True, but they won't be. Like that's the thing about the fryer is you shake them, you put them on
I
put them on a paper towel, it absorbs that outside grease, and it just becomes like a nice crispy the way you want it.
All right.
And as long as it's just one, and then when you get on the inside isn't.
Oh, it's killer.
The inside
Man.
doesn't get penetrated by the oil.
This just sounds great.
Necessarily, you
man,
know?
She better enjoy this.
Yeah.
This sounds
and
like
then,
a great meal.
And I have everything I need, even fresh parsley and basil.
A little bit of wine or something.
The
too.
only thing I gotta grab,
some red wine, maybe some Chablis or something.
I don't really know anything about
Some
wine.
Merlot.
I'll just have a Mountain Dew.
Get to do.
But she,
I got mountain mouth, honey.
She likes those teas. Twisted tea.
Twisted.
And a Red Stag.
Oh.
Until I bring her own. No,
Regular
I got it.
old
I do have
party
to.
over there.
So I have everything I need except for I got to go get a baguette, a tomato, some Parmesan cheese, and some mozzarella cheese.
Oh,
and I have everything
so you
else
gotta
I need.
you got to take a trip to the store
Just
on a Sunday.
One trip. Well, there's the thing. I don't have to, and
Right
it only
at 5 o'clock.
And of everything I just told you, it really only like eliminates one aspect of that.
But the baguette.
The baguette kills that with the tomato and basil and.
Right. Well, that's all right, because that's all right.
But I want to get it.
But you better go get it. It's a birthday.
Yeah, it's like
You'll
I
never
gotta
hear
do
the end
something.
of, yeah, if you don't come up with the baguette. You'll
I
never
don't know. I would. She doesn't care.
You'll
gonna
never
be,
hear the
she's
end
gonna
of that.
be grateful.
All right.
She's gonna be grateful. It's
Oh,
gonna
I
be
believe it.
the best damn meal
I would be
she's
fucking
had.
grateful too if someone made me that fucking spread.
All right. Well, I will someday, buddy.
All right, June. My birthday's coming up in June.
All right.
Doesn't look like I'll be out on tour.
I think
we can have a meal party
you know
right
what,
down
man?
here.
We
have
we need a kitchen. We need to make like this part out here a kitchen.
We can. It wouldn't be hard.
It wouldn't even be hard. We could even our sink is like that slop sink. We could clean it up in there, kill some of them dead birds that get caught and drop down in and turn into skeletons.
They come down in, and then that's their retirement home. They fly in when they know they don't want to be out in the weather anymore and hang out. They come in here,
bounce around in there,
bounce around for a little bit, run out of food, and then it's like the end of the fucking road.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're closing this baby out.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be here.
mAng and Neads Show.
Thanks for tuning in. To everybody out there listening that can't make it live or that aren't aware of it being live, you hit that little bell on the subscribe button, and I think you get notified a little bit better.
Alert.
But if you it is what it is, then you listen to it when you do. Thank you so much. You
yeah,
can
we
still
appreciate it.
Feel free to drop a comment. Hit that like button. If you dislike it, let us know you dislike it too.
Hit that unlike
we
button.
don't mind.
Put the thumbs down.
Yeah.
Suck it.
So, but I'm gonna give you another song here from this Moonhill band I'm working on.
Right on.
From the early 1970s.
I wasn't even born yet.
This is live Moonhill band. This song is kind of like their signature tune that I had learned on the first one, which is they opened with on their album was Black Cadillac, and it's about shooting down the road in my big black Cadillac. But what's also cool is a little speech here from Bruce in the beginning about about the fact that it was 69 cents for a gallon of gasoline in this day.
Should have filled.
So it was about 69 cents was about in line with the year. Interesting.
Done.
All right, so here we go, which was, I think, like I said, early 70s, so maybe 1972. Not really sure. But Sonic Gardens Radio.
mAng and Neads Show. Thank you for tuning in, man.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah. We
You
appreciate
put it in your big black Cadillac and you
Thanks
go
for
down the
having us.
road. Well, I'm shooting down the road in my big black Cadillac. But I'm shooting down the road now. I ain't never going back. Said I'm moving on, baby. Now I'm gone, so goodbye. a heavy load. So here I go. But I'm shooting down the road in my big black Cadillac. But I'm shooting down the road now. I ain't never going back. Said I'm moving on, baby. Now I'm gone. So goodbye, bye bye. Okay, let's do a song now for you.